Looking for a way to get healthy? The Chef You and I program has the answer. Kathryn, Raaker, and chefs from around the nation will teach even the most inexperienced how to cook. Come into their kitchen and watch them take ordinary foods with loads of calories and fat and turn those foods into healthier dishes. You will be the first to get tips and ideas on foods that are easy to prepare. Now let's join Kathryn and today's chef and learn how to make today's recipes.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of the Chef You and I. We have a wonderful summery show today. We're making cold soups. The first one we're making is a green gazpacho soup with shrimp. We've done this before, but I thought you would enjoy it again. Plus, we're doing a regular major gazpacho soup from Robert Carrier, and we're doing an avocado soup and a strawberry soup. But we're also going to be doing a dip with dried beef. So let's start with our first one. Our ingredients are 1.5 cups of plain fat, low-fat yogurt, not the Greek style, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, 3/4 cup of poblano chili, seeded and coarsely chopped, 1/2 cup of green onions chopped, and 2 cups of fresh whole wheat. We have this whole wheat bread that we're going to break up. And you usually get it from the bakery section. Remove the crust and tear into bite-sized pieces. 2 cups of English cucumber chopped and seeded. 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1/2 cup of kosher salt. 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. 4 large tomatoes. And these are what they look like when you first get them, and they're wonderful. So this is what it looks after you peel them. Tomatellas. And then we want to 1 medium pound of medium shrimp peeled and deveined, and 4 leaves of parsley for garnish. So what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to combine our yogurt right here, and we're going to put it in this bowl because we're going to actually use a whisk with it, and we're going to whisk it because that's really important in this recipe, okay? And then we're going to add the 3 tablespoons of oil that I've already measured out. There we go. And then we're going to add our juice, which is right here, and that's lemon juice, or lime juice. And then we're going to actually stir this up with the whisk, and then we'll stir in, after a while, we'll stir in the poblano, the green onions, and the bread, and then we'll let it stand for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. So let's do this. Let's just mix this up for a minute with this. We'll put this in here, and we'll put this over here for a minute. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and we are going to whisk it, and then I need to cut up my green onions first before I do that. And we'll put the bread in because we have to cut the bread or take the crust off the bread, right? So we want to do this. And I don't use any, and this recipe does not call for garlic. So we're not using garlic in this. And then we're going to blend it all. So it's not going to be, like you see it right now. That one isn't that good. So we only need a little bit of this. That is actually, for the onion, I think it's 1/2 cup of green onions chopped. And this will be 1/2 cup. That's easy to do. This is a really easy recipe. And I just love this kind of thing in the summertime because it's been in the 90s most of what July was. So anything that's cool tastes great. Well, after all of this, we're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it get really cold and then serve it. So we don't need that. Okay, let's get rid of this one and this one. So we're going to put this in here, right? And that's about 1/2 cup. All right, that looks good. All right, so move this along. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up and then add our onions and poblano, which I've already done. I've already cut up the poblano pepper and makes it easy. So put this in here. Okay, let's just mix this. All right, I'm just going to start it with like this to get it together, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to add, in a minute, your green pepper, your onions and your poblano pepper, and that's what they look like. So this is going to be a great soup. It turns out a really a light green, and we're mixing all that in together. And then after we do that, we'll let this, and I have to add the bread now, so I'm just going to wait for a minute. And I'm going to cut off, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to tear it apart. And because it'll stand for 10 minutes. Okay. And you need enough. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. And it makes it really simple. And since it's so hot out, you want to fix things that are really, really cool. So all of the soups actually are all vegetarian when you think about it. The only thing that we're making today that is not vegetarian is the dried beef dip. So this would be equal to 1 piece of bread. So we'll do that. And that's the reason why you do this is because you want the bread to actually get really tender. And so you can use, they said use bakery bread, and that's what I'm doing. But this has already been cut. I know exactly, this is about it. So, makes it nice. One more. And then we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes. And then we'll cut up the rest of all the ingredients that we're going to use for this. And so let's do this. And I think that we can put the timer on, right, for 10 minutes. And just a minute, let me put the timer on right here. And then we need 10 minutes. There we go. 10 minutes. So we'll set this aside, okay? And then what we want to do is, I'll get rid of these. You can give those to the birds. They love them. All right. And then what we want to do is we're going to place, after that, we're going to place a yogurt mixture in a blender with the cucumber, which I have to cut up. And I've already seeded it. I've already peeled it. And also our tomatoes, we're going to cut those up in quarters, right? And then we're going to add the sugar, the salt, the black pepper, and the tomatillos, and then we'll blend it until it's smooth. And it'll be a really pretty color when we get done. And we already have done our shrimp. We've got pre-boiled shrimp that we're going to use in it as well. All right, we'll be right back after this messages, and we'll cut up the rest of the cucumbers and whatever. We'll be right back. We're back on the chef, you and I, and we're making green gazpacho soup with shrimp. Now the next thing we're going to do, and we have a tomatillo here, and actually what it is like a parchment on top of the tomato. Okay, so you take this off, and it's kind of sticky when you first get it off. We are going to go wash it off real quick. Okay, and then we're going to chop up both the tomatoes and the cucumber. So you have to do this, and I'd already taken all of the seeds out, right? But this is all going to be in the blender. So it's going to get all chopped up anyhow. And it'll become a very smooth type of soup. And it's really delicious. Every time I serve it, people love it. So, But the strawberry soup I've never made before, and it was so easy. The instructions are simple. And that's something that you could do with your kids, teach them how to make strawberry soup. That would be good, right? So we're almost done with this. We get this done first. And then we add this to it. And we took a lot of the, when you're getting ready for a show, you have to do so much preparation. So, especially if you're trying to do it in a short time period. So we did a lot of like the peeling and stuff of the cucumber and taking the seeds out. So, and my sweet husband actually took all the tops of the strawberries off for me. So, and these recipes are so simple. Most people have everything in their cupboard to make this. So, and I buy a lot of English cucumbers. I think they're wonderful. And especially after you seed them. And that's what a lot of people don't like about cucumbers is the seeds. So we're almost done here. And we've only got a few more minutes before we mix it all together. So here we go. And then we'll just do the tomatoes. So you want to quarter the tomatoes, but you want to take off that little top, and when you do peel the parchment type thing off the tomatoes, like I said, you got to rinse them off because they're sticky. Okay, there we go. Now we'll move this aside, and I do have this wonderful thing in here that I use all the time, and that is the scraper. I love all the new inventions they have out there. I try not to buy everything because you can go nuts with it all. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, and I'm going to use a sharper knife for this, actually, and take off this part right here, where usually the top of the tomato is. See that right there? You want to take that off. All right. And we'll do that with each one of them. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Anyhow, we'll do this. Be careful when you do it, because you really want the whole thing. It's like having a green tomato, right? But this is what they look like you saw them what they look like when they're in the store. You'll see the parchment type thing on it. So I think you're going to really love this soup. And if you've never had cold soup before, it's great. A lot of people have borscht, which is a beet soup, a Russian beet soup. And that's always served cold. Okay. And you do not peel these. You don't need to, because you're going to grind them up, right? Now, I'm going to quarter them like that. See what they look like? Instead of like a regular tomato, they have really tiny seeds in them. But that'll all get, this one you have to cut up a little bit more. All right, there you go. It called for 4 of these large ones, and these are the only sizes I could get. So, here we go. So we're getting done with this. And we only have 39 more seconds before that's done. And I'm going to turn that timer off in just a second, as soon as I get this done. All right, there. Keep looking, because I think it's going to go off any minute. I'm going to stop for a minute because it's done. So I'm going to press the timer, then it's finished. Okay, so we now know that we did it the right way. So we're going to do the last of the tomatoes. I think that's it, right? Yeah, looks like it. Okay, now what we're going to do is the next thing we do is we actually combine the yogurt, or we already did that. We're going to place the yogurt mixture in a blender with the cucumber, sugar, salt, pepper, and tomatillos. Blend until smooth. So we're going to take this off like that, and I know how to put it back on. And we're going to put in the, actually, the yogurt's going to go in there. You know, it's not hard to do this, like I said. So it's always come out before. I think it'll come out really nice now. But you need this type of blender or something that'll cut everything up easily. Okay, we're almost done with it. I'm going to get as much as we can in here. And I will take this over here and put it in here. There we go. All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this. I'm going to put this up there now. There we go. And add all of this. Okay. Wow, seems like a lot. Well, then we add all the other stuff, the pepper and the sugar, because sugar goes into it actually. All right, so it tastes really wonderful. So here we go. Sorry, we got a few out. We'll pick those up. You can cut that out, Bill. Right? I'm hoping this works all right. Here we go. We're going to add the salt, the pepper, and the sugar. And we're going to put this on. Well, we are now blending everything together. So we're just making it happen really quick. I'm going to blend this now for a few minutes. It looks like it's all blended now. I'm going to take this off. Then we're going to pour it in there, and then we're going to put our shrimp. Hold on a second. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. We're back on the Chef You and I, and this is how wonderful it looks. And what I'm going to do is put a shrimp in there to make it look even better. And then you just serve it that way. So let's do this. Right? And the third one. There you go. Now, we have enough to make actually probably 6 to 8 cups of this wonderful dish. And I think that your company will love it. It really was simple to do. Wouldn't you agree? And the next thing we're going to be doing is our strawberry soup, which is on the next part of the show. So we'll be right back. And we have our recipe, our green gazpacho soup with shrimp, up on our website at the Chef You and I. So just go to thechefyouandi.com for all the recipes, and then you can watch our television shows, not only on YouTube, but on our website, on LinkedIn, and a lot of other stations across the country. So we'll be right back. We're back on the Chef You and I, and we're making cold strawberry soup. And this is just a beautiful tasting soup. You'll love it. And you want to get it cold, and you can always put a dollop of the yogurt on top of it, because this is a sweet yogurt. So it's, you know, it's not just like a regular yogurt. So it's really nice. And you're going to put confectioner. So the recipe, the ingredients are 1 pound of fresh strawberries, and I measured it. Weighed it, 1 1/4 cups of vanilla yogurt divided, 3 tablespoons of confectionery sugar, 2 tablespoons of orange juice concentrate, and 1/8 teaspoon of almond extract, or 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. So in the food processor, we're going to combine the strawberries, 1 cup of the yogurt, okay, and we're going to do the confectionery sugar and all that, everything that we mentioned. So I'm going to take, that's 1 1/4. I'm going to take a little bit of this out, okay, so that I have actually a 1/4 cup. So I just need one little thing like this because I need to take it out. All right, I'm going to take 1/4 of a cup because you want a little to be able to double on the top of it, right? That's about 1/4 cup. All right, now we're going to put this, we're going to put the strawberries in, and I'm going to cut them because these are big strawberries. Okay, well, we can put some of them in, who cares, right? But the bigger ones I want to cut. Right. The little ones are fine. All right. The bigger ones. So all of these recipes, like I tell you every time, are up on our website at The Chef You and I. And we have the television show and the instructions. And you can even see a transcript on there. But you can print out the recipe. We do that every time so that you have the complete recipe so you can do it. And then if you want to send your recipes in, you can do that as well. So I'm going to put the confectionery sugar in there. There's 3 tablespoons that I've measured. Okay. I'm going to put the concentrate orange juice. Okay. And we got all that. Okay. Then I'm going to add the almond juice that I pre-measured. Okay. And now I'm going to add the yogurt. So we want to get, even though it went on the top of it, don't worry. It's not going to hurt it. And this is a thin yogurt. So different. So we're going to blend this, right? We're going to move this out of the way. And then we're going to blend it. And here we go. So I'm not going to talk while we do this. Looks good to me. So what we're going to do now is pour it into the glasses or to what you're going to serve it in, right? And we'll move this away. And then we'll put a couple of dollops of it on the top of it. How about that? Or you could use, actually Cool Whip or ice cream, a little bit of ice cream. So we'll take this off, right? And I can pour this into these beautiful dishes. Isn't that nice? Isn't that pretty? Here we go. So you could do one more, but we don't really need to do that. So what I'd like to do is they said, and I do have some Cool Whip, so I'm just going to put a little Cool Whip on it. We're going to put a scoop of Cool Whip on the top of the beautiful strawberry soup, like that. Now, doesn't that look pretty? And we'll do this with this one. And we're going to take some pictures of that, and that is what it looks like. And so, it's really simple. The recipe will be up on it, and go there to get the recipe of the strawberry soup. We'll be right back. We're going to do the avocado soup, and then my gazpacho. We'll be right back. We're back on The Chef You and I, and we're going to make cold avocado soup. And this is actually mixed for 2 people. You can always add more. We needed 3 large cucumbers, chopped, 1 large avocado, but I'm using these 4 avocados because I couldn't find any large ones today. 1 1/4 cup of yogurt, which I've already got right there. We're not using the garlic, but you can use 1 clove of garlic peeled, 1 tablespoon of fresh parsley chopped, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of organic virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a pinch of black pepper. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut up our cucumbers first, okay? You don't have to seed them. So I'm going to cut them up like this, right? If you want to seed them, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. They don't call for it. So it's all going to be blended together. So I'm going to put all of these, into this. So we know how to do it easily, right? So that goes in. So you need 3 of these cucumbers, because actually when you do make this, actually the cool thing about it is the blender, you know, cucumbers are like water when you think about it, and there isn't a lot here, so that's the reason why it's only for 2. So I would double the recipe if you want it for any more than 2 people. So here we go, and we got 1 more to go. And then we're going to add our avocados. And this is really fun making these soups like this, because when in the hot weather, you want something that is tasty and good and refreshing. And these are all cold soups. So you put these in the refrigerator for at least about a half an hour to an hour before you eat them. Okay? So here we go. Put all of those in, and then we're going to chop up our parsley. So that's about, we need actually a tablespoon of fresh parsley. There you go. There we go. Put all that good stuff in there, and that's fresh. And now usually when you do these, you take out the seed in the middle. I don't know where the seed went, but it's a little seed, so you don't have to worry about it. So it comes off really easily. So you really get a lot of the avocado this way. These are small seeds. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our scraper and put this in. And this is so easy. I've never seen seeds this small before. Oh well, this must be a certain type of avocado that has a small seed. So it makes it easy. So there's that. And, right, and then do this one. Easy. So, like I said, the recipes will be on our Chef You and I show. And we need to take a short break. No, we don't. So we're almost done with this. Let's do this. We have a couple more to go. No, we've got 1 more to go. But remember, you're going to add the yogurt to it in a minute with the rest of the juice and the yogurt. Okay. All right. That's fine. I think this is going to be really a nice soup. I've never had this soup before, so it should be a real treat, I think. Right? So we just need to do that. Put that in there. Now we're going to add our olive oil, our red wine vinegar, and also our lemon juice, our salt and pepper. Whoops. And you don't want to put too much salt, because that way people that are on salt-free diets or whatever, they can have this. Now we're going to add the yogurt. Now I'm going to, because I've got gloves on, I can do this easily, okay? So then we'll put this over here. And then I can take the gloves off. So it keeps your hands clean and everything else clean. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the top back on it like this. All right. And we're going to Turn that on and we're going to pulse it. Okay, now we're going to take it out and we're going to put it in these beautiful bowls. We're just going to take a little short break here. We're back on the Chef You and I. We've already blended our soup, our avocado soup, and now we're getting ready to pour it into our cups. And if you're doing it like this, remember it's a cold soup, avocado soup. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pour this in to... See how beautiful that is? And I would put some greenery on the top of it. Okay, like some parsley or something like that, to give it a really nice look. See how beautiful that is? Looks really tasty. So we'll put that in the refrigerator and we'll be right back on the Chef You and I. And then we'll put at the very end of the show, we'll put a little bit of parsley on it. We'll be right back, right after these important messages on the Chef You and I. We're back on the Chef You and I, and we're making my gazpacho soup, which is, and I've used big tomatoes instead of 9 regular tomatoes, and you need 1 green bell pepper, roughly chopped. And I'm not using a lot of green pepper because I'm not crackers about it. And some people don't like green pepper, but I'm using it. 1 red bell pepper, roughly chopped. And I'm using these sweet bell peppers, and they're really wonderful. And then I'm using 1 small red onion, peeled and roughly chopped, 6 large basil leaves. And here's my basil leaves, and these are fresh basil leaves. And then 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar, which is right here, and also a salt to taste. I'm going to leave out some of the bell peppers so I can put it on the top of the soup when I'm done. So we're going to combine the tomato, after I chop it, the bell pepper, the cucumber, the basil, the onion in our blender, blend until smooth. Then we'll add the bread and blend again. And then I'll add the olive oil. We are going to chop up our tomatoes now, and these are big tomatoes. And I took the bottoms off of them, so makes it easy. And we're going to do it again. We're going to lift this up and put it like this, make it simple, right? We're going to add our tomatoes, and we're going to keep on cutting until we get it all done. And since these are big tomatoes, you want to get as much of them as you can in here. And since I didn't use 9 small tomatoes, and we're going to cut this part off because that's really a hard part of that tomato. And, you know, you'll always find all of our recipes on our website. Send your recipes to Kathryn Raaker at 123@gmail.com. You can send me your recipes if you want a recipe that's healthier than your normal recipe. We'll be glad to accommodate you on it and give you the recipe. My family loves this soup. We used to have it when we were in England and in Spain, because we lived in Spain as well. So let's use this. I didn't realize I had it. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, here we go. So, because this gets messy after a while. And when you're not really tall, like I'm not, you have to really reach up, right? So here's another tomato. Here we go. And, you know, you could do this. It doesn't really take that long to do it all, but you really have to have, you know, your thing planned. So make it simple for yourself. So here we go. And then 1 more tomato. And remember, gazpacho is made with tomatoes. And I don't know, that should work. And then 1 more tomato. Right. Right. That's a real hard part of the tomato. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's so big. Who knows? So This will go in there. And it looks like it's getting really filled, but guess what? It will be fine. So now we want to put the green pepper in. So we want to chop that up roughly. And I'm going to leave this out, but I'm going to take the rest of this. And I've taken the seeds out and taken all the, it's got like a white thing that's in the cucumber, the green pepper, and you want to take all that out. So here we go. All right, now here's the red pepper. Remember, you're going to put your cucumber in there. Okay, I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to blend this a little bit before I put the rest of this in there. Okay, because I don't want it, it's getting pretty full. All right, let's try this. Okay, now we'll just add the cucumbers and the basil, okay? Whoops. And then we'll add the bread to it as well. Right. Okay. Right. Let's do that. Like that. Add these. So it becomes very, you know, it doesn't come flying over the top of the top at all. So now you want to put your leaves in, and I take the stems off right here. Now put those leaves in. This will all blend together. Remember that. Here's the last one. Oh well. And then we're keeping these. We're keeping these for when we put it on the top. But we have to put our onion in. We've got another tomato over there I forgot about. And we've got red onion. Right? Just a little bit more. We don't need a lot of this. All right. Put that in there. I love this blender. It's so nice. It really is. And then we have one more tomato. And we want to take the bottom part off. Okay. And that. Remember, it called for 9 tomatoes originally. Okay. Now we're going to put the sherry in. And we're going to put a little bit of olive oil. I'd say just that much. That's about 2 tablespoons. Okay? Right. And then we'll put the bread in after we do this. All right, here we go. Why isn't it working? Now we're going to add the bread. Okay. I'm going to cut the crust off at the bottom. And then we're going to tear it apart and put it in. There you go. Does something with the bread. I'm not quite sure, but we're finding out, right? Here we go. It's on there. Here we go. All right, now we're done. We're just going to clean this up. We'll be right back, and we'll show you how we're going to serve it, and we'll show you how we just cut up little tiny pieces to put on the top. We'll be right back after these important messages on The Chef You and I. We're back on The Chef You and I, and this is my gazpacho soup that we're going to look at right now, and I'm going to pour that into these white, beautiful bowls, right? And I'm going to do this. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to leave this on top and do it. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Now, the nice thing about this top is that you can do this pouring part of it. See how beautiful that is? And that's that. And then here you go here. That's really pretty. Now, what I usually do on mine is I put little pieces like this to give it some color, right? And you've got orange, and you've got red, and you've got yellow. And you could put sour cream on top too, which would be really cool. And so just, do it like kind of like this to give it some color. And there you have gazpacho soup. I think it's pretty cool, actually. There you go. And then I would serve it. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to serve it on white plates, and then you could have some crackers with it or whatever. And then you're going to put this in and get it really cold in the refrigerator for about 2 hours, okay? And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to do our dried beef dip. And we'll be right back. We're back on the Chef You and I, and now this is one of my favorites. It's dried chip beef cheese dip, and you're going to love it. It's really simple. It's 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 2-ounce dried beef chopped fine, 1/4 cup of walnuts, 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of chopped onion, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 3/4 teaspoon of pepper. So I put 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese in the microwave, and it's very smooth now, so I'm going to add all the other ingredients to it, and then we're going to put it in there and put chips around it or whatever you want. But we're going to do this first. We're going to use our food processor to chop up the onion that I need. So we're going to do this. We're going to put this in and then chop it up because you want it fine, okay? So that didn't go. Hold on. It should be done now. Okay, now I have to chop up this chipped beef. And you want to do it fine. So I'm using a really sharp knife. And we used to have, when we were kids, cream chipped beef. Because especially when you're from a big family, it goes a long way. And it wasn't very expensive for mothers then. And so my kids remember it. They even call me for the recipe. So that's pretty well done. But you want it to be in small little pieces. Okay? So we're going to add the onion. And we've got walnuts. You do not have to use nuts if you don't want to. This is milk. And this is my sour cream. And I just need something to wipe this off. And you don't want to have a messy counter, right? And I don't like that. So we'll just do it. Okay. So now we're going to add our chipped beef. To it. Right? And then we're going to blend that in. And I'm going to use actually a fork to do this. You can see that when I'm doing this, this is what it should look like. And that's really nice. You can see. And the chipped beef is salty. So you want not to put any salt in here, but pepper is different. Okay, I'm going to add sour cream to it. Right, and the milk. And the milk. Just a little bit of milk. A little bit more. Then the onions. Okay. That should be enough onion. Okay. And the nuts. So you have it And then what you're going to do is you're going to put it into that nice bowl right there. We're going to start, you can do crackers, you could do whatever you want. But this turned out to be really nice. And it's going to be up on our website, and they want you to serve it a little bit hotter, so we could put it back in the microwave, but we're not going to do that. I think we did a nice job already. So let's do this. Let me get it taken care of, and then I'm going to bring everything out so you can see everything that we did today, and let's see the whole thing. So we'll be right back on The Chef You and I right after these messages. We're back on The Chef You and I, and we've come to the end of our show, and it's been just so much fun doing this show because it was all with easy types of cold soups and a wonderful beef chip dip, and with wonderful bagel chips. So the first thing that we made was the green gazpacho with shrimp soup, and actually that's absolutely delicious. Then we made the strawberry soup, and then we made the avocado soup. Then we made my wonderful tomato gazpacho soup. And then finally, we made the chickpea dip with bagel chips. These recipes are all available up on our website at The Chef You and I. You'll have a lot of fun with this. I think that this could be a luncheon, could be lots of different things. But what we did with the strawberry, that's kind of a dessert kind of soup. So, but you need to refrigerate all of it and keep it cold and serve it cold. I want to thank everyone for joining us today on The Chef You and I, and bon appetit. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining us on The Chef You and I show today. We'll be back next week with another great and healthy recipe. Don't forget to visit our website, thechefyouandi.com, for all of our featured recipes, cooking tips, and clips of the show.